All right, and we are live.
4 years now, and really what excited me was the the ability to transform economics as we know it. Um, to suddenly have scarce digital assets, to have scarce money was very important to me. Um, and it was just a very interesting progression how you kind of fall into the VR rabbit hole, and then you kind of come to understand that there is such a thing as crypto art and digital art that is put on the blockchain. um, and bringing the two worlds together was just an incredible passion of mine, and it seemed to be the world that I wanted to create. I wanted to create, a refuge, a place so beautiful that people would be inspired to visit it, or would, aspire to become involved in a community that puts art culture at its core.
Fantastic. And you've done at Mocha. I didn't know what to expect when you guys busted onto the scene with such energy, but wow, absolutely fantastic the work that's going on there.
Thank you.
Let's move. Thank you. And yeah, let's move over to to Cordula. You've been around for quite some time, and we've had our some conversations over the years. And now you're really working on avatars and some amazing builds here in the world. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for the invitation to this panel. It's great to meet some fellow crypto artists and everybody who's interested in the cultural aspects of social VR and sort of VR worlds that we're finding ourselves in. So I first got into VR in 2016 when headsets became commercially available, and I trained as a sculptor about 20 years ago, when this was just a dream, I think, for art practitioners and for sculptors. And so what really attracted me to Somnium Space and to experiment in the artistic space within this environment was really the opportunity to just build the spaces that I want to interact in, and that I want to invite people to. So I'm very much interested in the social infrastructure of art and of art practice, and we're seeing everything here that's, funnily enough, really mirroring the art world on the outside, maybe in the early 1960s, where we have some big collectors, the foundation of big museums, and lots and lots of creators as well. So I built Somnium's Crypto Crypt. It's a small parcel in the middle of town, and it's a building that I tend to tear down and rebuild depending on what artist is showing in it. And so we're having small-scale events, and just as an opportunity for people who have not been in VR or who are not yet into crypto art to just experiment a little bit without necessarily having to have a big audience. And it's a nice space also for collectors to have a look at, because it's a hidden niche, and we like collectors who like to find the next big thing maybe, or to just have a look. It's about small and frequent interactions with artists and collectors and everybody else who is interested. So that's mainly what I've been up to.
Fantastic, thank you. Everyone, you may hear some different names being thrown around. People have their avatar name above their head and then their actual IRL name. Some are being used interchangeably, but now we're going to swing on down to the other side here and talk to George, aka Natural Warp. Let's hear about some of the work you've been doing.
Well, for me, it's the corona that did it. That make me jump into the crypto art world, because I didn't really even know about crypto art before I heard about the Somnium Space. I knew the existence of the Bitcoin and the Ethereum, but for me, there was a complete event-based community shutdown, because I was focusing on festivals and exhibitions to show my art during the summer and a little bit spring, autumn as well. So there was no other way for me to go into the digital even more than I was doing before. A couple of years ago, I started with 360 imagery building, and I was lucky enough to be able to buy myself a VR headset, and a backpack computer. So I was trying to early adopt before even know what to do with the VR, not wanting to play games, but seeking for some new software to create with. And then, while entering the Somnium Space a couple months ago, when I arrived and started walking around with this generic avatar, the space was quite empty still, but to me it felt like a space that I was used to see, like a festival that's about to start, but nothing was happening yet. So I was way too early. I didn't even know I was going to do events or build something, but when I saw those prices for the land, I had a budget so small. I was no, we'll see what happens. And then for me, an opportunity came by, because Arthur saw me bid some really low prices on small parcels and stuff like that, and he offered me to rent a parcel which I immediately built my solo exhibition museum on it. And because I sold one piece directly in the first, I think, day or second day after I built it and published it, this enabled me to go much further than I was hoping even to achieve something here. And now, yeah, a couple months later, the Burn event is about to start in a couple of days. Quite big. And yeah, it surprised me every day again to see what is coming, the amount of artists jumping in, the amount of music that's going to play, the workshops, everything. It's amazing to see this community jump in and make everything happen so big and so fast.
So,
and so creative.
so just be, thank you so much. And something jumps out for me, and I hope other people caught this, and I want to just touch back before we go to Angie. Did you say, excuse me, did you say you rented a property, sold an NFT, bought property, and now you're one of the biggest builders and creators in this environment?
That's almost right, because I don't own one parcel. I don't even own one parcel. I'm renting 45 parcels to make this happen. And
Wow.
this is all made by selling a couple NFTs for the in-game currency Cube, and a couple for for Ethereum as well. So actually, with quite a very small wallet, this is all possible. Of course,
Fantastic.
because a lot of people are helping and making this happen, and all the artists join in and are really big with the trust to donate NFTs, and
So this is
the community.
Thank you for clarifying that. This is something that's I see as so beautiful and fantastic about VR in general, Somnium Space, the crypto art scene. Everybody on the stream, guys, girls, humans, robots, whatever, we are at the very beginning. We haven't even got to the beginning yet. We're so early. Everyone here is a pioneer. Everyone here is breaking new ground every single day. And you know, when your client crashes or your thing doesn't work, be happy, because you're here and you know you're learning something. Angie, tell us what is an old a punk from back in the day doing in VR today?
I've got a similar background. I started in sculpture about 40 years ago. I did my degree and then left college and thought, you know, I wasn't one of the chosen few, so I thought, what the fuck can I do with a sculpture degree? Sorry about that. So I became a prop maker and got into film and television through that. And then I became a motion graphic designer. I mean, I was never a designer. I was always an artist, but I kind of fell into motion graphics because I thought it was, you know, a way of making a living. I loved animation and sculpture, so I kind of saw the link with that. Anyway, I kind of did that for about 25 years and kind of really wanted to get back into my arts. A friend said to me, there's an event on in Brighton about VR. And I thought, well, I'm not into VR, but I'll go anyway. It's a networking thing. Went along, saw the presentation, absolutely loved it. And then they gave me a headset with tilt brush on it. And I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is my dream, you know, to actually build huge sculptures without, I've got arthritis. I can't really do the sculpture that I used to do. I used to do massive steel and wood sculptures. So to be able to recreate those, but actually be in the space with those was the most exciting thing I'd seen in digital media for years.
Wow.
And then a couple of friends of mine, Algomystic is a friend of mine from the motion graphics industry. He posted a couple of things about crypto art, and it was just after COVID, and I was really struggling financially and just thinking, well, maybe this is a good opportunity to get back into doing my art, because I've got nothing to lose. And I really liked what I saw about crypto art. I really liked the community aspect of it. I liked the fact that it was kind of a bit rebellious, and it just appealed to me. It just felt like home, really. And so I thought, oh, well, I'll try it and, you know, put a couple of bits up, tweet a few things. And I just feel like it's been such a welcoming community and a great space to work. And yeah, that's it, really.
Fantastic. I mean, I had this huge list of amazing questions, but we're just answering the questions in this great conversation. but I do want to throw it over to Colburn for a second, somebody who's in it from a slightly different perspective. And just what do you think, where are we now and what do you see us in a year or two?
Ooh, wow. I kind of want to echo what Angie was saying about this initial draw of the punk culture. It seems just like a lot of people who are coming together from a place of love and community and mutual support are building this community. And we're seeing certainly the space beginning to change. The more traditional fine artists, the way they're being represented in COVID times is incredibly disrupted. There's a tremendous rush to digital. I think we are just on the very beginning of some interesting exponential growth. It's it's difficult to say where we're going to be in a month, because it does change. It changes so quickly, and we see it even just in the landscape of Somnium, the amount of builds, the way the skyline has changed over time, the amount of new participants coming in and feeling empowered to create. In my mind, it is a bit of a renaissance, and I think many people, for many different reasons, will find their niche. But I hope we can continue to hold the values that brought us all here in the first place and build this, what I view as a global village. I mean, it's incredible to think of all the places that, the members of the panel, yourself, the audience is all represented from, and here we are together sharing our thoughts, and it's just incredibly in a part of something quite like this. So again, just, a thousand thank yous to everybody involved and for coming and spending the time and sharing their thoughts and opinions.
Awesome. So Cordula, what do you see as something that could totally derail all this? Because, we're kind of we're in a
I'm not hearing Sasha here right now.
This could derail this.
No.
The disconnect. Wait, let me switch to you. Hello, I'm the cameraman today, and here's the panel behind me, and I'm enjoying it. I'm quiet, but I'm enjoying it a lot. So I guess Sasha's question was, what could go wrong? This is the first example, but what else can you?
Well, he's just disappeared, so that's our question, really.
All right, yeah. So I mean, what do you think? What could go wrong in general for the blockchain, for the VR worlds, and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think sort of the technological pervasiveness of VR. That it becomes something that's not widely adopted. I think for spaces like these, it's always a difficulty when you're starting something new and you don't know. I mean, Arta will know more about this than I do. You don't know if it's going to live from 1 year to the next, and of course it takes a community to keep it going. And I think one of the worst things that could happen is that maybe there are going to be one or two big players in, say, something like crypto art, and it becomes very centralized. And of course, that's one of the main problems that blockchain technology will have as well. The more centralized it is, the more unreliable the whole network becomes. So from an art point of view and from a technology point of view, I think the more community participation we have, the more stable the whole thing can become, and that's a bit of a buffer against things like technological glitches. That if you have a good community, you can find workarounds. You can even if the internet goes down and disappears tomorrow morning, there are enough people here who can create an alternative of some sort. So these things are possible, and I think when you have art spaces like these where people are being creative together, you foster very unconditional cooperation, and that's really one of the strengths of spaces like these, I think, and that'll make the whole thing more resilient. So I'd like to sort of focus on the things that we can do to make it more resilient rather than what could go wrong.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I'm still awaiting Sasha.
So Sasha was punished for that bad question. Okay, the god of VR,
It's not a moral
the god of
question, but
metaverse
yes.
has spoken. Was not me, I promise. Was not me. Yeah, I guess it's an amazing mix of artists and collectors and stuff. And it's quite funny that like more on the collector side is this sofa, and more on the artist side is that sofa. Or I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm collecting a little bit of art, but I'm not an artist yet. So what do you think are, and I'd address it to Natural and then maybe to Angie, and then we'll go back to you guys and girls. What do you think is the trend of 2020 in crypto art from the standpoint of creator, and then we'll listen for the collectors as well.
A trend in crypto art.
Yeah. What do you see as kind of
Hi.
like what maybe there is some things you see more often. I know you're a big creator of 360 art, which I'm a big fan of, but what else do you see in general in the scene of crypto art, which caught up your eyes?
I see a ton of trash art. I thought like, oh, when I arrived in the crypto art scene, I thought, oh, this is not really my style. But I came to see the value and the stories behind some of these pieces, and also the artists, of course. But on the other side, you have a couple really nice visionary artists that bring a trash art that maybe can be made with a good idea in a couple of minutes or half an hour. People that maybe work like a month on a piece and then mint it on super rare. But the most interesting thing that I saw, I think, was the birth of async, the programmable art, and what's gonna be coming after that. I think that's a big game changer. Brings a lot of opportunities for people, also for the collectors to be interactive with what they're collecting.
All right, thank you. And Angie?
Yeah, I see one of the things that I was surprised to see actually is a lot of art that I would have classed as design rather than art. And it's really and I see that, obviously there's people coming from a traditional art background, but there's also people coming from a design background and kind of merging into the space. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how those different disciplines come together, because they do tend to be very different people, designers and artists. And I think there's a mixture of both in the community. So I find that really interesting. I also find interesting people that are doing stuff outside of the digital realm, like Pascal Boyart and artists like that who are using OR codes to then be paid in Bitcoin for art, for graffiti art that they're doing in the street. Things like that I find really interesting. And some of the people that are making like Hodl Rocks is making, wooden craft-based artworks and selling those. So I think taking it out of the digital realm is interesting as well, although I'm quite happy staying within that realm myself. But it's nice to have that as a way of kind of growing it beyond confines of, a computer or a headset or whatever.
All right, thank you. Yeah. So the collector sofa, the hot seat. Tell us, tell us what do you see as the trends emerging in 2020, and how do you perceive that?
We leave the best for last.
Colburn,
so I go
you
first.
start. Yeah, we go from right to the left.
As you please. As you please.
What's exciting for me, for example, is the tokenizing 3D works. So as a sculptor, I find this very interesting. And I think with people creating their own social spaces, their own VR spaces, there's definitely a little bit of a gap there, I think, for unique artwork and unique digital assets. So I think it's very exciting that it's possible to support 3D artists like that, and to actually collect stuff to surround yourself with, to give some texture to your your virtual spaces. So I think that's an exciting development.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add that I think also the emergence of VR spaces, that for the first time you actually are able to walk around and show other people live your creations and discuss it, and I think that's hugely important, at least for me, because I consume visually and more in a way of kind of like in real world. So if I see the art on a web browser, it's kind of okay, but I need to see it in the constellation of a museum in VR, and then to me, then I create this connection to that piece, which you cannot disconnect anymore, because you've seen it, you know how it looks like, if it's a big one or small one. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Colby, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think some excellent points were made across the board. I definitely see an emergent trend in more 3D objects, and it's just incredible to, walk right over to that Burning Man exhibit and see some of those 3D sculptures on display. It's way sooner than I would have anticipated. I think there's an interesting conversation as well happening at this intersection of art and design, and something that we're very focused on in the museum is changing the relationship of the viewer to the artwork from just looking at something on a screen and to bringing it into more immersive environments where the builds that we create and the artist solo shows that we put forward are, we're removing ourselves from this, four white-walled gallery model and suddenly creating environments that speak to the deeper meaning behind the artworks themselves, and allow the participants that come into these spaces to have perhaps elevated experiences, expanding their consciousness for what is possible. And here we are in a world with no rules. We can do whatever we want. We can continue to break rules and experiment together. And I think that's just what I would love to see is just more experimentation. The artists continuing to create and mint very freely, without anybody telling them, what to do. And for us, just build, and, continue working with artists, pairing them, with designers, and finding these environments that continue to attract and pull people in to show the power of what we're all doing here.
All right, I agree. Maybe one comment. When you break rules, be careful. We're watching. All right. Yeah. So it's my obligation as an admin to say that. All right. I have to. All right. So maybe what are your what are your wishes for the future, maybe to yourself as an artist? And again, we'll start with nature and we'll go one by one, and to the industry itself. So what do you wish yourself for the rest of 2020, and what do you wish for to the industry that it will do?
That's a very easy one. For myself, I wish an immediate ability to mint my 360-degree art somewhere, instead of having to upload it as like a shot within, like a 2D artwork. I can also upload it like a sphere in the 3D model, but I wish to mint the 360 JPEG by itself as quick as possible in a high quality way, as fast as it can. I'm waiting a long time for this already.
Mm-hmm.
And for the others, first of all, lower gas prices, because this is being not so easy. I think for most of us, for minting tickets, for example, or if you do a bigger collection at once. And I also wish for all artists the growth of the collector scene.
Mm-hmm.
More collectors coming onto the platform or different platforms. Also being open for newer platforms to collect not only on the known ones or the biggest ones, but also the newer and the smaller and the ones that make changes in the scene.
Gotcha. Yeah. What about you, Andrew?
Well, personally, I hope that I can give up my day job and just do art full time.
Yeah.
That would be my only ambition, really. I don't, for the community, I hope it stays focused on the art more than anything. I also would love to do I made a VR experience in Unity before I started doing crypto art. When I went on that, I got an artist residency at this place in Brighton where I went to see VR, and I spent 6 months there, and I spent an environment in VR. And I would love to mint that. I would love to be able to show that. I've never shown it once in Brighton, but I've never been able to show it online, really. So
maybe talk to
I'd love be
Natural.
able to do
He
that.
can record a 360 video experience of it, and then place it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
showcase it
360
here.
videos. I
Not the
think
same,
360 video is great, but I want a fully sixed off immersive.
Then you have to wait for
That's
our
what I'm-
SDK. We're working
I
on
have
it.
to wait.
So
It's a dream.
all right, thank you.
That's my future dream.
Thank you very much. What about you, Colburn? What do you think about your dreams, and what do you wish yourself and the industry for the next maybe 6 months?
Yeah, I just want to continue to get out there and show people what is possible. It's been so heads down focused on what we've been doing that I think it's now time to kind of share, because I think when people see it for the first time, even if it is just on something like a live stream such as this, it's incredibly compelling, and it sparks an incredible sense of wonder and amazement. So to do that across more different types of people, whether it is people within the crypto community, whether it is people that are in, more of the traditional art scene, just to get out there and spread what we're doing is certainly a short-term goal of mine. And then as far as the community, I would just really again echo the same sentiment of continue to be kind, caring to one another, recognize that everybody is here super early, and that the values that we place in it now will echo forever into the future.
All right, amen. I pray to the God, to the Burning Man God. What about you, Sam? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I can just echo the wish for continuity, because as Colburn said, we're here very early, and there are lots of things